Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our session from Ideation to Adoption, maximizing user adoption of your enterprise software. My name is Trevor, and I'll be your moderator for today. Just some housekeeping items. This session will be recorded and will be sent to you by email after the webinar is over. This will also be available for download in our resource library at www.skedulo.com/resources. Feeling social? Tweet #Skedulo. Got a question? Leave it in the box to the left and we'll answer it via email after the webinar. I would now like to introduce our speakers for today, Emily Hay and David Isaacs.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Hay, a Senior Project Manager at Skedulo and a Salesforce MVP. I'm part of the Customer Success team here at Skedulo, and my role is to help customers through their implementation journey with us. A key focus of mine is problem solving for customers. So we do this through workshopping business needs and processes with our customers, where we identify any areas of development that might be required, whether that's within the Skedulo product or as add-ons to the customer's unique environment, and supporting our customers through the UAT, deployment, and adoption phases of the implementation.
And I'm David Isaacs, Head of Design at Skedulo. My team work on the Skedulo core product, and the focus of my role is really ensuring that we deliver a delightful user experience for our customers, and of course their employees who use our product on a regular basis. We regularly spend time with our customers understanding how they use Skedulo, and we're looking for opportunities to improve the core product and the user experience.
So what we're going to discuss today is really about how to ensure your organization is infiltrating every step of your enterprise software implementation with change management precepts. Change management shouldn't be something that's tacked on to the end of a software development lifecycle. It really needs to be considered at every stage. Essentially, change management is about people. If you want to make a change within a team or an organization, you need to convince people that they should make this change. Change is uncomfortable for us all, and that's only natural, we're only human. But change management allows you to plan and execute change in a controlled way so that the change experience in your organization is positive.
Yeah, that's right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the Skedulo process of identifying a problem or a business need, and we're going to talk about how we as a software company design and develop new features from concept right through to deployment. We're going to provide some really handy tips on how to approach training so that you can embed these features into your business processes. And we're also going to talk a little bit about how to handle those interesting challenges that come with asking individuals to change their daily work habits.
So let's start with talking about the process of requiring a solution through to implementing that solution. So the process from requiring a solution to implementing one, or ideation to adoption, is split into 5 categories as shown here. We'll step through these in more detail in just a moment, but as a summary, it starts with ideation. First, we need to know that there is a problem that needs to be solved. Then we can gain a thorough understanding of the problem. Once we have that thorough understanding, we step through the software development cycle of solutioning, developing, and testing, followed by communicating changes or new features out to our customers, and after that comes the user adoption. That user adoption piece is really important. So even though it's depicted as the last step in the process here, we want to get into the weeds of that and talk about change management concepts that you can interweave through this entire process so that you can improve user adoption of software that you deploy to your organization. So the first step in the process is identifying that there is a problem. Business users will be able to tell you what they find difficult about their day-to-day work. And business leaders need to be in touch with their teams in order to hear these pain points and prioritize accordingly. It's important to know whether something is a business critical issue. For instance, if it's stopping your employees from doing their job, if it's getting in the way of delivering products or services to your customers, or if it's a major inhibitor of productivity. This is where you want to focus your time and funds to get the most return on investment. Some of the things that we see often are common problems like schedulers using Excel for scheduling, which is unsustainable for growth, or your mobile workforce being caught up doing paperwork, which is killing their productivity and reducing their ability to deliver more services to your customer. At Skedulo, we have a customer success team that's dedicated to helping our customers realize the greatest business benefit from their use of Skedulo. We have dedicated customer success managers that have regular touch points with customers to review Skedulo utilization. And through those reviews and conversations, we can help customers identify pain points, especially within the mobile workforce management business processes of your company.
And through our core product, we've already solved a lot of these problems related to scheduling. So typically, most of the implementation is configuration of your Skedulo application. Where we do identify a new problem that is a candidate to become part of our core functionality, what we'll do is we'll add this to our product backlog as a feature request.
So once we know that there is a problem, if it's not something we've already solved with an existing feature, Skedulo will assign a solution architect to do discovery workshops with business leaders and subject matter experts to find out what the root of the problem is. It's really important to have your business subject matter experts there. These are your people who are using systems or acting out business processes every day. These are the people on the ground who will be able to tell you how it really is. So there are some key activities that take place during discovery, not least of which is asking why about 1,000 times. Like a child trying to discover out more about their world, asking why many times over can help you dig down into the real cause of a problem. There's an example we've got here called the 5 whys method. Here's a scenario, and we'll show how asking why repeatedly helped find the real source of the problem, allowing the problem to be solved effectively. So the problem was that the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. was deteriorating. Why number 1? Well, why is the monument deteriorating? They found that that was because harsh chemicals are frequently being used to clean the monument. Why number 2? Well, why are harsh chemicals needed? And that was because they needed to clean off a large number of bird droppings on the monument. Why number 3? Well, why are there a large number of bird droppings on the monument? And that was because there's a large population of spiders in and around the monument, which were a food source to the birds. Why number 4? Why is there a large population of spiders? And that was because of vast swarms of insects on which the spiders feed, which were drawn to the monument at dusk. And finally, why number 5? Why are swarms of insects drawn to the monument? And that was due to the lighting of the monument in the evening. So after asking all of these whys, we come to the real problem, which is the lighting of the monument. You could stop at the first why and try changing the cleaning products you're using, but still you'd be cleaning the monument regularly when you don't really need to. The real solution is to change how the monument is illuminated in the evening to prevent attraction of swarming insects. No more cleaning, no more harsh chemicals, no more deteriorating monuments.
Yeah, it can also help to ask other open-ended questions. Things like, who is involved in the business process and what are their responsibilities? What are they currently doing and when? How do they do it? This kind of really rich context will help you to get to the root problem so that you can solve for it. A really good tool here is business process maps. They can really help you to understand the steps in a process and who is involved. There are a few really good software tools out there like Lucidchart or Visio that you can use to get those documented. Basically, business process maps turn a story about a business process into a tangible, visualized process. We can highlight pain points and areas for improvement within the process. These also become really handy later on in the software development lifecycle when you're starting to train people. You can show them the old way and the new way, and that'll help them to understand what's changed and why. So now that we have a fairly good understanding of the core business problem through the discovery process, we'll start to plan, design, and implement the solution. Some of the things we typically look at here are configuring the product to suit your business processes and workflows, and integrating the Skedulo product with your other core systems of record, like Salesforce, for example, if that's the CRM you're using. Typically, what we'll do here is break a customer's requirements down into a set of user stories. And if there is some development required, we'll plan and deliver this iteratively over a series of sprints so you can see the progress along the way. We'll also conduct thorough unit testing and integration testing to make sure everything is working as expected.
So once that solution's built, we first need to communicate the solution to you before you can get your internal communication and training underway. Our engineering teams provide release notes, which are emailed out to our subscribed customers, and they'll also update the publicly facing knowledge base we've got at support.skedulo.com. Once the feature has been tested and is slated for release, that's when it circles back to customer success. If we know that a customer has been waiting for a particular feature, our customer success managers will contact those customers and provide a demo. On top of that, our customer success managers have regular quarterly calls with customers, which includes a demo of new or upgraded features released within the quarter.
Yeah, so this is the point when it really comes back to business users and business leaders who first identified a problem to wrap this up in internal communication and training to help your employees transition into the new way of working that removes their pain points. So we at Skedulo can tell you what our applications do, how they solve your problem, and where to point and click. But only really you as a business leader at your organization can translate this into the language and processes that will deeply resonate with your colleagues. And we're going to dive into this a bit deeper in the next section.
So now that we've discussed the process from ideation to adoption, let's talk about how to deliver effective training and change management to your teams within your organization. The tips we'll talk about now hold true for new implementations of Skedulo, as well as adopting a new or upgraded feature if you're an existing customer already using our application. Your first step is to identify who will be experiencing change as a result of the new features. There will be some obvious candidates, such as those who administer the system or are primary users, but try to think broadly about everyone who touches the current system or consumes information from it. Who in your organization uses the scheduling data Skedulo provides? Those people need to know what changes are coming too. Next, go a level deeper and identify those who will be impacted the most versus the least, so that you can prioritize your communication accordingly. A 3-tiered system as simple as high, medium, and low can help you stay organized and targeted in your communication. Finally, work with team leaders to identify individuals who may have a more difficult time than others adjusting to the new process, such as those with weaker technical skills. If you're conducting group training, consider pairing those people with more highly skilled peers, or have them trade one-on-one so that they can move at a more appropriate pace. Change can bring out people's insecurities, and a surefire way to set back your transition is to make people uncomfortable or embarrassed with using your new system. Once you've identified who needs to change their behavior, you now need to communicate to them why this change is happening in terms that they will care about. Communicating the benefits of their new system and process to your users is vital to getting their buy-in. First, you should think about this at the individual level and then at the organizational level. Too often, managers will focus on the high-level business goals that will be achieved and don't spend enough time putting change into terms that resonate with individuals. So what improvement will they, as an individual, experience as a result of this change? This is a great opportunity to celebrate the benefits you expect from your new process and highlight how it will eliminate long-standing pain points employees have suffered such as removing redundant work or cleaning up bad data, which might allow them more time to focus on other higher value tasks. After all, there must be reasons that you're making this change. Connect the dots for your people so that there's no question in their minds what they're going to get out of this. Then elaborate on the strategic value of this change to the business and share that across the organisation. Savvy business leaders will use the implementation of a new tool or process as an opportunity to position their team and themselves as forward-thinking, strategic contributors to the business. How does the implementation tie back to your overall business strategy? And how will the solution improve the performance of your organisation? So think about how you're going to communicate with and train your colleagues. People will take in information in all sorts of ways. Some people like to read, some people like to be told, some people like to see, and some people like to do. And if you can combine all of these four, then you'll have a winning communication plan. So personally, I much prefer a Slack message or an email that I can digest in my own time. And someone just dropping by my desk to have a conversation might not always get the warmest welcome. But one of our colleagues here at Skedulo loves to have a chat over the phone. Knowing this, it would be counterproductive, not to mention a little bit rude, to send this colleague long, detailed email messages if I want him to actually take in the information that I'm trying to share. When I was a brand new Salesforce admin 8 years ago, I used to send the longest, most detailed emails out about new reports or new workflow rules, and I thought they were works of literary art. I spent hours crafting detailed, accurate, and informative emails, and I bet you can imagine how well they went down. Eventually, someone sat me down and hit me with the truth, which was that I was writing emails that were too long and too technical. I wasn't writing for my audience. I was writing for me, so don't make my mistake.
So when you're putting training together, it's really key to understand how the functional use of the software will apply to your teams and individuals' daily business processes. Here are a few handy tips. First of all, use familiar terms. So while Skedulo features are labelled as things like jobs, resources, and accounts, you may need to translate that into perhaps appointments, people, and customers. It does seem like a small thing, but using familiar terms will help your colleagues understand how the software applies to their usual daily work. Deliver training based on role types. For example, a scheduler is likely to care about how to create a job, how to allocate a resource to that job, and how to dispatch that out to the field. Whereas a mobile worker is not going to be so concerned with that and really just wants to know how they can use the Skedulo X mobile application to understand their agenda and complete their daily work. Different again, management or executives will want to know how they can have oversight of company performance, other things like resource utilization, customer satisfaction, and so on. You want to ensure that you craft your training to deliver the key information to each audience to ensure that you increase engagement and hold the attention of the room.
So we've got some training tips and methods that you should consider using. Identify super users and give them some extra training attention. Taking a train-the-trainer approach with super users will create internal champions in new systems who will help you share information about a new system quickly. A super user becomes your ally out in the business who can advocate on behalf of your change and help you by answering their teammates' questions. They help a team move forward with change more effectively. Provide documentation that your colleagues can refer back to. We suggest creating a user guide that includes how the solution ties in with existing business process. You can also record your training and make it available to current and future employees. Deliver training through face-to-face methods whenever possible to give users a chance to ask questions easily. This is especially helpful for users who are less technically savvy. New technology can be daunting, so you want to ensure you're treating them with empathy and giving them the training that they need. Let your users play in a sandbox environment so they can familiarize themselves with the system without impacting important customer data. This gives them a chance to try things out while feeling safe that they're not going to actually do something they shouldn't, like accidentally notify a customer about an upcoming appointment. If you're concerned about users accessing your system without training, you could create an internal certification. You can require users to get certified before using the new system by completing a short test or some other demonstration of knowledge after training. Gamify the process with a small reward for the first people who get certified. You could have a leaderboard or badges, have some fun with it. This doesn't motivate everyone, but some people really do love gamification. And let your users know what to do if they encounter an issue using the system. Give them the contact information for the team or individual to go to for help.
So change doesn't always go well. So what can you do to mitigate the obstacles to your change and smooth out the process? So ask any manager about change management, and chances are they can tell you why a really thoughtful and inclusive process for change is absolutely necessary for team morale, for return on investment, operational cohesion, and a whole bunch of other reasons. But how often is this actually put into action within an organization? The fact is, operational change is hard and often fails. We need change management because it basically reduces the risk of failure when you're upending an entrenched set of behaviors and systems. It's the employees of your business who ultimately have to change how they do their jobs, and it's the responsibility of managers to direct and support them as they do so. If these individuals are unsuccessful in their personal transitions, or if they don't embrace a new way of working, then let's face it, the initiative could fail. But if employees embrace and adopt changes required, you greatly increase your organization's ability to reap the benefits of change. The change curve, as shown here, is a depiction of the phases humans generally go through as they experience change. Let's talk a little bit about how to smooth out each of these phases for your teams. So first of all comes shock. So what can you do to minimize the effect of shock for your teams? Well, first of all, you really want to be communicating as early as possible that change is on its way. Let people know you're looking at fixing some issues with a particular business process and keep them regularly informed as you track towards the deployment and implementation of software solutions. This can really help to minimize the effect of shock when the change does come along. Next up, denial. To minimize denial, your employees need to understand why the change is happening. Some people might push back. They're going to say things like, what's the point? We've always done it this way. So for this, you want to make sure they know why, as we discussed earlier, and give them the answer to what's in it for me. Depression. So adopting change can be a bit laborious, and as leaders, we need to feel empathy for that. You know, when you've been doing something for so long that it becomes second nature, it can really take focus and motivation to keep plugging away until you reach that same level of familiarity with the new process. This is sometimes referred to as the pit of despair of change. It's a really tough slog. At this point, it can really help to just be aware that you're in this phase and remind people that it is going to get better. Next up comes experimentation. So this is the point where people first encounter the software and start to play with it. As we mentioned earlier, safe places to try out a new solution, like a sandbox, will help your teams to experiment with the software without fear of doing something wrong. Decision. So this is a really key point, and this is the point where a new solution starts to be adopted and not just implemented. Instead of feeling like the change is forced on them, your employees have experienced the change and they've decided that they're going to go forward with it. Make sure everyone has all the information about the solution they need, that they've undertaken their training, and that they've got access to the user guides. Be careful though, this isn't a guaranteed step. If you've done your change management right up to this point, you'll be able to move forward with the change as an organization. However, if you haven't, teams can and will outright reject change, and they may not tell you openly that they're doing it. So finally, integration. This is where change becomes a new norm. Congratulations, this is change adoption.
We've provided a handy checklist that you can download to help guide you through your change management at your organisation. This downloadable printable checklist will help you be sure you're on track with your change management, so you know you're doing all you can do to help move your organisation towards adoption of a new software solution. And that brings us to the end of our 3 core points of discussion. So, what did we discuss, and what are the key takeaways that you can take away from this webinar? So make sure you use the 5 whys method to understand a problem that you may have. And when you're communicating changes, remember the who, why, and how of your communication.
It's easy to lose employees to simple terminology translation, so make sure you know your familiar terms. When times are getting tough, remember the Kubler-Ross change curve. And finally, don't forget to leverage the change management checklist that we've provided. So we just want to talk really briefly about what Skedulo offers. So for those of you that are not fully familiar with the Skedulo solution, Skedulo is built for a modern mobile workforce and is flexible enough to fit any use case, including yours. This is due to our Lens API capabilities that make Skedulo effectively communicate with the systems of record that you use in your current tech stack. Skedulo is a powerful and scalable solution that grows with your organization, whether you're a small, medium, or large enterprise. Skedulo also offers native solutions to Salesforce and ServiceNow, and also has an independent platform that can connect with any system of record. It's secure and HIPAA compliant and designed as both a web and mobile application. This easily and intuitively connects your team in your head office with your mobile workers out in the field.
At Skedulo, we've got more than 100 customers with over 50,000 users in industries like healthcare, manufacturing and field service, commercial services, home services, and not-for-profit, with more than 5 million appointment schedules. And we've got a wide variety of customers, as you can see here, particularly in the healthcare space. We've also got offices in Australia, United Kingdom, the United States, and Vietnam.
Well, that concludes our webinar today. Thank you, Emily and Dave, for your time, and thank you, attendees. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at marketing@skedulo.com. Have a lovely day.